Hi, welcome to Linear Equations. This is going to be a jump start video on how to do linear equations. It should all be things that you did throughout Algebra 1, so we're not going to spend a whole lot of time focusing on each different part. First, you need to know how to graph a linear equation. So the easiest way to do that is to find 2 points on the graph and draw your line. So we're going to pick x equals 0 and x equals 3. We're going to plug it into the equation, we're going to get our y, and then we're going to plot the points. So, negative 4 over 3 times 0 plus 2. Well, negative 4, 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. Negative 4, 4/3 times 3 plus 2. Well, those 3's cancel. You get negative 4 plus 2. You get negative 2. So our points are 0, 2, and 3, negative 2. So we're going to go over to our graph. We're going to go to 0 on the x-axis, go up to, that's a point. We're going to go over to 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to go down to, that's a point. We're going to take a line. We're going to draw it through our points. Not perfect, but there you go. Here are some key terms that you should know about linear equations. What a linear equation is? A line. Or linear function is a line with a graph of a line. Linear equation is an equation used to represent that line. Dependent variable. Your dependent variable is y. It depends on x. So it's asking you to plug in something for x to get y. X is independent because you're picking those numbers. Y-intercept crosses the y-axis. X-intercept crosses the x-axis. Standard form. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. That's important to remember. Finding slope. Well, slope is rise over run, rate of change. Okay? When you're doing it and they give you 2 points, you pick your points. Whichever one you want to be y1, y2, x1, x2. So let's pick x1, y1, x2, y2. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We replace them. So negative 6 plus, minus 7 over 8 plus 2. You get negative 13 over 10. That's it. You just take your points, you plug them in. It doesn't matter which you pick to be x1, y1, as long as you keep it x1, y1. Okay, point slope form. That's this form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where you have a point x1, y1. So it's asking you to find the standard form of an equation of a line with slope 3 through point negative 1, 5. So let's go ahead and put it in. The easiest way is to put it in point slope form and then find standard form from that. So our m is 3, and this is x1, y1. So now I'll just plug it in. Y should be y minus 5 equals 3x plus 1. And it's plus 1 because a negative times a negative is positive for that x1. Well, now we need to get it into standard form. And remember, standard form is ax plus bx equals c. So we need to get everything, all of our letters, our variables need to be on the left, our whole numbers need to be on the right. So first thing we want to do is distribute this 3. Y minus 5 equals 3x plus 3. Let's move this 3x to the other side and get negative 3x plus y minus 5 equals 3. Get rid of that 5 by adding it to both sides. Negative 3x plus y equals 8. So we have everything we need on the sides that they need to be on, but our a is negative, and we like our a to be positive. So if it's negative, we need to multiply everything by -1 to make it positive. So we get 3x minus y equals -8. Okay, because what you do to one term, you have to do to every term. And that's your answer. So, write in point-slope form an equation of a line through 4, -3, and 5, -1. So, in point-slope form, we need a point and a slope. So let's find the slope first. We'll make this our x1, y1, and this our x2, y2. And remember, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we get -1 plus 3 over 5 minus 4. That's 2 over 1, so our slope is 2. Now, the point we use, you can pick the x1, y1, or you can make the x2, y2. It doesn't matter. But remember, our equation is y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So I'm going to use the x1, y1 because it's there. Alright, I just plug it in. Y, and we have -3 for y1, so negative times a negative is +3 equals 2 times x minus 4. That's all you have to do. Slope-intercept form, that's probably the most popular form that you've seen because it's easy to graph. Because it gives you the slope and the y-intercept. So you can plot the y-intercept and then use the slope to go from there. So find the slope of -7x plus 2y equals 8. Okay, for that, we just need to put it, take this and put it in slope-intercept form. And we do that by solving for y. So we want to get rid of this -7x. So add 7x to both sides. You get 2y equals 8 plus 7x. There's a 2 in our array, so let's divide this by 2. Y equals 8 plus 7 over 2x. And even though this isn't y equals mx plus b, it's y equals b plus mx. It doesn't matter what order the right side is on. What matters is this. That is our slope because it's in front of the x. It's what the x is multiplied by. That is your slope. Alright, so we have some slopes of special lines. If you have a horizontal line that's completely flat, left and right, then your rise is nothing. You don't go up, you only go over. So your change in rise is 0, and that's your numerator. So your slope is 0. For a vertical line, your rise is, the change in rise is anything. The change in x, it never moves left or right. So that part is 0, but that part is in the denominator. And your denominator can't be 0, and that's why that's undefined. Parallel lines are like this, okay? This blue line and that one. They have the same slope, different y-intercept. So same slope, different y-intercept, because it's just moving it up and down. It's not doing anything to the angle that the line is at. And then these two blue lines, they're perpendicular. And if you start with the slope of this blue line, okay, it says the slope is 1/2. So the slope of its perpendicular line at a point is the opposite reciprocal. So you take your point, you take your slope, you put a negative on it. If it's negative, you multiply it and it becomes positive, and then you flip it. Okay, so whatever was on the top goes on the bottom, and whatever was on the bottom goes on the top. So let's find the equation of a perpendicular line. It gives us y equals mx plus b. So our slope is this right here. They give us slope. It's 4. Well, we just said perpendicular slope is, so this is our m1. Our m2 has to be the opposite and then flipped. So this is normally 4 over 1. It's just assumed. You don't have to write it. So when you flip it, you get 1 over 4. So that's our new slope. Now, it gives us a point. We don't know b. Okay? We have y equals mx plus b. And this is where they relate, and this is where they change. They're not dependent on each other. So we need to find b. So right now we have y equals negative 1/4 x plus b. We have an x and a y, so we can find that b, because this is our x and this is our y. So we just plug them in. So negative 3 equals negative 1/4 times 5 plus b. So we have negative 3 equals negative 5 over 4 plus b. Well, how do we get rid of this negative 5 over 4? We add it. Plus 5 over 4 to both sides. Now I'm going to switch the negative 3 to an improper fraction with the denominator of 4. So 4 times 3 is 12. So it should be negative 12 over 4 plus 5 over 4. Well, negative 12 plus 5, that's just 7. Negative 7 over 4, and that's our b. So our overall equation, we have to plug m back in, and we have to plug b back into our equation. So we get y equals negative 1 over 4 x minus 7 over 4. Okay? And now it's in slope-intercept form, but it doesn't give us a form to put it into. So you could technically do this and put it in point-slope form, right? Because you have the slope, and you have a point, and that might be easier. Or you can put it in standard form. You could find one of these and then move around so that all your x's and your y's are on one side. It doesn't matter. It doesn't tell you in the instructions which one specifically to do. So you're free to do whichever one you're the most comfortable with. And here you try these. So make sure you write these down. Okay? Make sure you are taking notes. If you weren't, go back and take your notes. Make sure you write down all of your key terms. Okay, these are important terms to have, and your special slopes. So have fun, and I will check these tomorrow.